We're midway through the second half of our doubleheader on CBS. Early this afternoon, Green Bay, a big win over New Orleans. San Francisco, the Giants, Miami. Don Shula becomes the winningest coach in NFL history. Our congratulations to him. And nobody's talking about firing Jack Pardee anymore.
No.
Houston wins big. And here's Rob Bernstein trying to get around the corner. It's 20-20, 5:47 remaining third quarter. If you joined us late, the Denver Broncos jumped out 20-3 over the Minnesota Vikings, but then Sean Salisbury led Minnesota back 2 touchdowns just before halftime in the 7-minute span. It was 20-17 at the half, and then the Vikings got a Fawad Ribeas field goal to tie it up, and that's where we are.
Vikings done a great job of limiting Bernstein. 6 carries, 0 yards.
Wow. 2nd and 11. Blitz threat. It's coming. Elway reads it. Man coverage left side. Diving catch. Vance Johnson in front of Audrey McMillan. He did a terrific job of adjusting to the ball.
Yeah, you think these guys have played together before, huh? 9 years together. Bronco fans have seen this combination. Key is that Johnson can see the ball. McMillan can't see it, so Johnson can time his leap and take it off the top of McMillan's helmet.
First down at the 45-yard line.
But the key for Denver on that play is that they beat the blitz with a big pass play.
Second down, or rather second catch for Johnson. 1st and 10 at the 45. Play action. Elway wants to go deep and does. Wide open Derek Russell. Blown coverage by the Vikings. And Vincey Glenn, who plays a deep center field, had to come up and make the tackle. But that's a gain of 30.
And it was off the play action pass here. Watch after the fake how Russell comes in behind the linebackers who are going to bite on the fake here. That's just enough to let Russell get in deep between the linebackers and the safeties. A very deep weak safety in Vincey Glenn, and good pass protection by Melander. Good teamwork between he and Gary Zimmerman.
They hand it to the fullback, Del Pino. And Henry Thomas bowls him over, number 97. There's Henry.
You know, we've been talking about how hot Salisbury has been. Elway very quietly has completed 12 in a row.
Oh, he's 20 of 23.
That's what the Vikings wanted him to do, though, is throw 30, 35 times.
219 yards. Bernstein back in. Delayed blitz. The pass is complete to Shannon Sharp. Carl Lee with the tackle. Help from Fred Strickland. And that's 13 in a row.
Well, he goes to Johnson on the sidelines. He goes to Russell over the middle. Now he finds Sharp again. Offensive line is doing the job all of a sudden. And the Broncos are just rolling.
Well, you're right, Dan. It was a very quiet 12 and 13 in a row. So much made by us of the fact that Minnesota climbed back into the ball game.
Can't ever forget about number 7, and you can never forget about him in the second half, in particular the fourth quarter.
Goes right, throws it away. And so the streak ends at 13.
But that's an example of John handling the pressure of the pass rush and not feeling he has to force the ball into a receiver. In years past, he might have scrambled around and rifled the ball down the field to Sharp or someone else. But here he realizes that, hey, this is no big deal. We'll just line up again after I throw this one out of bounds. Takes a hit from Barker, but does not force the interception.
Second down and 10, 2:29 to go. Third quarter of play. Pass cut by Bernstein, slips a tackle, and is dropped at the 9-yard line. Fred Strickland, number 53, makes the tackle. That's a gain of 5, 2:15 to go, third quarter. Wade Phillips, 46 years of age. Second job as a head coach. He filled in as the interim head coach at New Orleans when his dad was relieved of duties there. His dad, Bum Phillips, of course. Very much a player's coach. Second, 3rd and 5. 20-20 ball game. Corner blitz coming. Carlos Jenkins, the linebacker. Elway. Flag is down. Pass is caught by Arthur Marshall made the grab beyond the end line. There's also a flag on the play. Would have come back anyway. And this is going to be our 19th accepted penalty of the ball game.
Now the question is, do the Vikings accept this penalty, as it'll bring up a 4th down and a possible field goal attempt, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to refuse this penalty and bring out the place kicker.
Holding, number 64 offense. That penalty is declined. Result of the play, 4th down.
John Melander, the left guard. And as a result of the declined penalty, it'll be Jason Elam to try and break the tie. So concede the 3. Don't give Elway a chance for the 7.
Absolutely. Don't ever give John Elway another down. But that was good defense. Last 2 plays by the Vikings in the secondary, covering the receivers and putting pressure on Elway.
Here's Jason Elam, a 3rd-round draft pick from Hawaii. 27-yard field goal. Tommy Maddox will hold. Blocked. It's blocked. And it's Tim Irwin again.
And this one he got up in the air for too. 6'7", but he got all of his right arm on this one. Ball might have been kicked a little bit low, but Tim Irwin has blocked 2 field goals in this ball game. 1 field goal and 1 extra point, rather. There he is, number 76. It's the left hand that swats it out of the air for the big guy.
Tim Irwin can file a legal brief on how to do it.
Lasers. Satellites. Cellular data networks. What exactly have we launched here? UPS Total Track. The only tracking system that can confirm delivery of your air and designated ground packages coast to coast in seconds.
Package was signed for at 9:26 this morning by Mr.
The arms race may be over, but the package race is just heating up.
We created a whole new automotive category. Brought the American Roadster back up to speed. And reshaped the 4-door sedan. You could say we've changed all the rules. Makes you wonder what we'll think of next. The new Dodge.
There is a sound you can hear on the new Riviera. It's the sound of German being spoken by those who converge on Ocean Drive. In your town, America, and the world. Beck's, the #1 imported German beer.
Dear Midas customers, we don't want your family riding around on bad brakes. That's why we'll fix the brakes on most cars the same day you bring it in.
Minnesota Vikings have had a long tradition of special teams play, blocked field goals and blocked extra points and punts. They had none this season until today. Tim Irwin with a blocked field goal and a blocked extra point. First down in a 20-20 ball game. And the carry goes over right tackle out to the 23. 1:28 to go, 3rd quarter. Carl Mecklenburg makes the stop on Roger Craig.
Well, you know, you're 6'7", and the coaches see that, and he's done it for his entire career. He's going to be the middle guy that's going to rush the kicks every time. I mean, you can't coach tall, you know. You got a tall guy, that's where you use him. It's a game of inches.
Listen, I want you to report next summer 2 inches taller. That ball is hit. I think Mike Kroll got a hand on it, or on Salisbury's arm.
Well, Kroll's going to come in untouched, looking for his 2nd sack of the year. Here he is, 51. And Salisbury does a nice job at just getting rid of that ball. But that came real close to being picked off by number 73, Simon Fletcher.
3rd and 9. Final minute, third quarter, out of the shotgun, Salisbury. Deep left side. And Dennis Smith comes over and levels Chris Carter. And Carter knew it was coming.
Yeah, he did, and he still almost made a one-handed catch. Salisbury is looking all the way to Carter. What that does is that brings Dennis Smith with the ball. There's the ball, there's Dennis Smith. You've got to keep those safeties from reading your eyes. You've got to look to the other side of the field, at least for an instant, just so that the safety can't get a beat on where you're throwing the ball.
And Chris Carter, in obvious pain, limps toward the Minnesota bench. Fourth down, Newsome is on to punt, 50 seconds to go in the third quarter. And let it be said that the Vikings had 254 yards passing at the half. They picked up only 26 in the third quarter. Milburn waits for it at the 30-yard line. It's a good one. Out of bounds, no run back. Flag is down. Face mask against Minnesota.
Now you keep repeating yourself, Vern, but for good reason. It's snowing penalty flags today here in Denver. The snow stopped, but the flags are still flying.
Well, we had a 6-inch snowfall overnight, and it subsided this morning. Has not snowed throughout the game. That was the second major storm that hit Colorado. And I'll get the hometown pop in here right now. We had 14 inches of snow in Steamboat Springs on Friday.
And Thanksgiving can't come soon enough.
No.
Foul. Face mask. Number 24 on the kicking team. Half the distance to the goal. We'll replay fourth down.
It's a real critical mistake there by the Vikings, because now you give the Broncos a chance to put more pressure on Newsome. Newsome has had 14 punts blocked in his career, but only one as a Minnesota Viking. And the snowballs fly out of the south end.
They heard you.
Yeah, that's a good play by Tom White.
You bet.
That's a great call by the official, Tom White.
Remember the Monday night game here, 49ers?
Yep.
And the Broncos, and Roy Girello was trying to kick a field goal and got hit with a snowball.
This is a good job of officiating, because the snowballs were coming at Harry Newsome as he stands in the end zone. I'm not sure, though, that this will stop them from coming, though. They might be aimed at the guy in the white hat now.
That's the problem. But thus far, none. That's a good sign. Newsome's punt is a good one. Milburn at the 35. And Jake Reed missed a tackle. Flew right by Glenn Milburn. A 54-yard punt, 13 on the return. 32 seconds to go, third quarter, 2020.
I don't get it. Some guy bets 228 and makes $3 million bucks.
Can you imagine what Willie Mays would be worth today?
Yeah.
No holiday sweepstakes.
Another Heineken, right?
Yeah, please.
No blimp with our name on it. No racing team.
Hey, Mays.
None of that is what made Heineken the #1 imported beer in America.
Where's all that money come from?
Ticket prices.
Yeah, I guess.
And all those beer commercials.
As your engine revs higher, the oil forms a hydrodynamic wedge, protecting your engine parts. But as your oil's viscosity breaks down, so can the wedge. That's why Castrol GTX has unique viscosity improvers. Castrol provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol, because if your viscosity breaks down, what's next? Castrol GTX. Now get a free officially licensed NFL team football when you buy a case of Castrol GTX.
To make Dodge Intrepid more spacious, we moved the wheels that normally go here, out, and back to here. Up front, the wheels that were here were moved out to here. It's a concept called cab forward that yields astonishing room for people like me. While good things like wider doors, sports car handling, and superb aerodynamics came along for the ride. Dodge Intrepid. This changes everything.
2020 ball game, 32 seconds remaining third quarter. Gary Zimmerman, the former Minnesota Viking, got into a bit of a contractual battle with the Viking front office. Was very bitter about what he perceived to be ill treatment at their hands, and was very happy when the trade was made to send him here. First down and 10. 32 seconds to go, third quarter. Play action. Elway with time, deep right side into double coverage, and it's tipped away by Carl Lee. Nifty job of defensive work by the veteran left cornerback of the Minnesota Vikings.
And it's a good job of the front four getting pressure on Elway again. Randall split the double team of Melander and Zimmerman, but they held him out long enough. Elway takes a hit, and the thing that's got to really worry Elway and the Broncos, they haven't scored the last 5 times they've had the ball.
Jumped out to a 20-3 lead early in the second quarter and seemed in command, but have struggled since then. Second and 10. Short set this time. Elway sliding trap by Vance Johnson. No catch.
And that's Elway's worst pass of the day, and it came the next play after he got knocked down by Randall. And that's what Denny Green said to us yesterday, that when you knock down John Elway, he's just like every other quarterback. He's not as effective the next couple of plays. And very good example of it on that time, as Elway underthrew a wide open wide receiver.
Dallas leads by 10. Cedric Tillman comes in now as a wide receiver for the Broncos, number 87. On third and 10, motion left side. Vance Johnson started early.
Well, there's just no excuse for this. You know, Vance Johnson's a 9-year vet. All he's do is, if he can't hear the quarterback, and he should be able to hear, they're playing at home, and Elway's got a strong voice. Just lack of concentration, rolled off sides.
False start. Number 82 offense. 5 yards. Still third down.
What's the score in penalties now,
right now, the Vikings have a short lead of 11-9.
But in yardage, the Broncos have a 2-yard advantage, 71-69. Don't tell me we don't cover the ball game.
Third and 15. Del Pino is in the backfield. And the stunts by the Minnesota defense. Elway rolls to his right, lets it go right side, intercepted by Carl Lee. He threw it right in the arms of number 39. His second interception of the season for Carl Lee.
And no penalty flags. 6th time Elway's been picked off. And remember, he got knocked around a couple of times, threw one bad pass, and now he comes back with a poor judgment throw here, trying to hit Shannon Sharp on the sideline, and he hits number 39 instead. Here is Lee down here. Watch him just drift back into pass coverage and read the rollout of Elway and just stay with his responsibility. Excellent example of zone pass coverage by the Vikings.
Into the right flat. Jordan turned upfield before he had possession of the ball.
Boy, and he's real lucky that ball hit the ground, because Tyrone Braxton was right there looking for the rebound, and he would have scored if he caught it.
Steve Jordan caught 6 early in the first half and has been a quiet factor for the Vikings on offense since then. Anthony Carter has 4. Those were early. Chris Carter has 4, and Jordan 6.
And Salisbury's cooled off considerably.
254 yards at the half. 26 in this quarter. Until now. Barry Ward, who doesn't catch many, makes the grab on that one.
That's a big play by Salisbury, too. Looking over the entire defense, and he found his outlet receiver for a key first down.
That's the end of the third quarter with our score 20-20.
This is CBS.
I'm feeling empty. I'm feeling blue. I know it's over, and I know it's through. Man, now that's the blues.
Next time you want to Diet Pepsi, Ray, all you got to do is ask.
Now that's the right one, baby.
So, let's say you own a business. How can U.S. West Direct Yellow Pages help? Because businesses don't come with customers, you gotta go get them. So that's why advertising was invented. Now, ideally, your ad should be in every home and business in the city, in a place customers look the most, in U.S. West Direct. Think of all those people looking at your ad, and 4 out of 5 of them happen to be ready to buy. Right now, money practically burning a hole in their pockets. Beautiful. It's where to sell. U.S. West Direct.
Announcing the lowest lease rate ever on America's #1 selling trucks. Ford F-Series pickups. 4x2s, 4x4s, regular cabs, super cabs. All equipped with rear anti-lock brakes and driver's side airbags standard. Drive home your F-Series starting at only $169 a month for just 24 months. America's #1 truck starting at just $169 a month. Hurry, this offer won't last. So if you're thinking the best deal on the best trucks, think Ford first.
The Son of Sam interview only on Inside Edition Weekend.
Next Sunday on the NFL Today, Greg and Terry will turn back the clock 30 years for a special look at the day they played football. Reflections from players and coaches who took the field 2 days after the assassination of President Kennedy. That's next Sunday on the NFL Today at 12:30 Eastern Time. On first down and 10, Barry Ward sneaks to the left side and is hammered by Dennis Smith. He's playing with all the enthusiasm of a 5-year vet, isn't he?
Yeah, and his skills have not diminished at all, Vern.
Where have I heard that recently?
You know, that in talking to him, he still bristles at the fact that a lot of people call the Broncos a finesse football team. Well, they may be small and quick, which sometimes equates to being finesse, but there's nothing finesseful about number 49.
2nd and 11. Second play of the final quarter. John Salisbury for Anthony Carter. It'll be 3rd and 11. Tyrone Braxton was covering on the play.
That was an interesting job of Salisbury trying to look the coverage off that time. Remember earlier, just in the last possession, he kind of hung out Chris Carter to dry by throwing up a lollipop and letting Dennis Smith come over and put a big hit on him. Carter might have talked to him on the sideline and say, hey, man, you got to look off those safeties a little bit.
Chris Carter is back in the lineup. He goes left. Roger Craig is in the backfield. The 2 safeties dance up. They're coming. Salisbury reads it and throws it behind Chris Carter. It's almost picked off. Incomplete pass. Bradford had it. Couldn't hang on.
Yeah, defensive guys up front, they like to use a lot of stunts, but sometimes they just don't work. Watch this one between Dronette and Mecklenburg. They just ran right into each other, and I would have to say that Mecklenburg was correct on the play, being that he's an 11-year vet and Dronette's only in his 2nd year.
Well, Harry Newsom is on to punt for the 5th time. The Vikings waste excellent field position. They've got a 4th down at the 41. High, and a fair catch called by Glenn Milburn just inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. 14:06 remaining in regulation time. Wade Phillips' team gets back on offense. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and this CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the Denver Broncos, and the National Football League is prohibited.
You get the feeling now that the fans are back into it because they know what time it is. It's 4th quarter time.
Elway time. 1st and 10 at the 9. Elway is 27 of 30. Right side, Bernstein breaks a tackle, breaks another, and hurries out near the 20-yard line, a gain of 11 before Chris Dolman makes the stop. Bernstein now 7 for 11. That's his longest gain by 10 yards. Looks like he's going to be open all night. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're forgiven.
Okay. 1st down and 10. Oh, the pun spirit overcame me. Here's Bernstein again. At least I haven't said that Salisbury had a stake in the comeback.
A Salisbury steak, if he had one, would be real cold. Second half, he's only 1 out of 10 for 43 yards after having such a fantastic first half. This is Chris Dolman on the sidelines, and you wonder, he's getting his left shoulder worked on, but he's also breathing pretty hard.
2nd and 8. 12:54 to go. Elway. Pass is caught by Bernstein, but that's just a couple of yards out near the 25-yard line. James Harris is in the lineup for Chris Dolman.
And he's working against Gary Zimmerman. Zimmerman's pretty smooth, though. Good footwork and then good power. And just keeps young James Harris about 5 yards away from the quarterback. That's called a pretty good comfort zone for John Elway.
Denver, as you pointed out, Dan, is #1 in the NFL on third down conversions on both sides of the football. They are averaging 48% third down conversions, but they're only 2 of 8. 3 of 8 today. 3rd and 6.
Too much time. Another penalty. This one you can hang right on Elway. They had a lot of time at the line of scrimmage. This changes things dramatically from 3rd and 6 to 3rd and 11.
Offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
Look at the Kansas City comeback. And Seattle continues to lead Cleveland.
I'd be surprised if Cleveland wins 3 more games the rest of the year. That team has to be terribly, terribly divided.
And it'll be 3rd and 11 here. Under the 12-minute mark now, 4th quarter. Dolman back in. Barker gets to Elway. And remember the graphic on the number of times Elway is sacked and the effect it has on the team. That's the 3rd sack today.
And what's going to bring up is real good field position for the Minnesota Vikings. There we have that statistic. They've only won 12 games when they've been sacked 3 times.
It was the Raiders who got to John Elway 7 times in a game here earlier this season. Here's Ruin's punt. Gulliford grabs it at the 50, and the Minnesota Vikings have good field position with a 1st down and 10 at the 40-yard line. A 40-yard punt, a 10-yard return. Sean Salisbury and the Vikings come back in a game that is tied at 20.
It's the story of Jack, the Great Pumpkin King, and 4 cool new watches at Burger King. To get a watch for $1.99 from the everyday value menu, order each time. New lower prices on food that's delicious, and see Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. 4 watches to choose from. Isn't that fine? Each one is different for $1.99. Watches from Burger King, just one more case of everyday value. I love this place.
Save right now. Buy 3 Goodyear tires at the regular price, get the 4th tire free. That's right. Buy any 3 of these Goodyear tires at the regular price and get the 4th free. 4 for 3 now. Hurry, sale ends soon.
For this guy, any deodorant will do, but these guys need Speed Stick, antiperspirant that gives 110%. And now Speed Stick deodorant has a powerful new formula to fight odor. Speed Stick, for movers and shakers, the #1, the only one.
Did you reserve the car with Hertz?
Not exactly, but it's a good deal.
Are they as fast as Hertz?
Not exactly, but what's the rush? We're on vacation.
Dad, are we lost? Hertz gives you computerized directions.
Honey, this is not exactly Hertz, okay?
I hope they have the same emergency road service as Hertz.
Not exactly.
In Rent-A-Car, there's Hertz, and there's not exactly. Make sure you choose the right one.
Are you sure this is the way to the hotel?
Not exactly.
Did you hear that?
This game summary is sponsored by McDonald's.
Tim Irwin has blocked 2 kicks today, 1 an extra point, 1 a field goal. Salisbury has passed for just under 300 yards, and the Vikings have scored the last 17 points.
Those 2 block kicks, Vern, directly result in this tie ball game at 20-20.
Salisbury gets the snap, rush coming from Simon Fletcher. Salisbury lets it go and throws it away. It was Fletcher, number 73, who chased Sean Salisbury over to the left side. Second time now that the Vikings, second time in the last 2 possessions that they have been at the Denver 40-yard line.
And it's really important for these guys to do exactly what they're doing. Have a few cups of water, sit on the bench and rest. They've held Denver without a score the last 7 possessions, but this game ain't over. It's Elway time late in the 4th quarter when they're really going to have to play.
Roger Craig goes left and gets 4. How significant, Dan, for the visiting team does the altitude become in the 4th quarter here?
It's deadly, Vern, especially to the bigger guys. You look at the Vikings now in their huddle. They've only been out for a couple of plays on this possession, but they're already breathing hard. And when you have these cold temperatures, you can see the breath coming out. And you look at the Broncos, and it's a whole lot different. They're just not breathing as hard.
It's 28 degrees, and it's also 3rd and 6. Salisbury, right side, big catch by Chris Carter. First down, Minnesota at the 21.
They got the first down, a photographer and a cheerleader as he went out of bounds for big 3rd down conversion. He's in the slot on the left side of the screen, just goes down and out, perfect protection. Then he turns up, gets out of bounds, and takes down a photographer and a cheerleader hard.
That's a gain of 14 yards. We'll check on the photographer and the cheerleader. Here's Roger Craig. Moves it left side and then is shoved backwards as he gets inside the 20. And we near the 10-minute mark. Remember how both teams passed the ball with such ease in the first half. Salisbury had 254 yards and Elway 152. And the numbers for both have diminished.
Yeah, big drop off of almost 200 yards from Salisbury in Minnesota. The thing he's got to be careful now is don't force the ball. Don't risk the interception.
On 2nd and 7, Salisbury looks in the end zone, fires it, has a man open, and it was much too hard. Chris Carter had gotten free of Dennis Smith.
That's one thing Carter does so well is find open areas in the back of the end zone. He almost treats it like in the baseball, the warning track. He'll look down at the field, he'll see where he is on the field, and then he'll wait at the last moment and try to make the catch. Tremendous weapon, Chris Carter, when you get down inside the red area.
3rd and 7. Anthony Carter goes left. Qadri Ismail's in the lineup. He comes to the right. Salisbury looks left the whole way. And the pass is incomplete. Ronnie Bradford knocked it loose, number 23.
It's a heck of a play by Bradford. Looks like Anthony Carter was going to make this catch. And maybe Bradford was there just an instant too soon. But that was in super slow motion. So to the naked eye, the timing was perfect.
Now Rivas to put the Vikings on top for the first time. 35 yards away. Harry Newsome will hold. That's perfect. And the Minnesota Vikings have scored 20 unanswered points. Rivas knocks it home from 35, and with 9:17 to go in the ball game, the Vikings lead Denver by a trio.
Oh, Mr. Energizer Bunny, out for a stroll. My matter desolidificator will put an end to your precious little source of power. Your hippity-hoppity days are over.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going.
Do you dream in color? In bottomless blues and screaming yellows? In sounds that shake you to the bottom of your heart? In images clear as crystal and brilliant as ice? In faraway worlds as close as your fingertips? These are what dreams and Sony Trinitron televisions are made of. Make one come true for you. It's your life. Isn't it worth a Sony?
How do you remember an important phone number?
Mr. Stick-It Pad. Put it on the door, on the clock.
The first three-letter numbers on the area code up here, and then
you just write the number backwards on your forehead. When you look in the mirror, it'll come out.
Then I just go like that.
Here's a really important number to remember. 1-800-OPERATOR, only from AT&T. There's no lower price for a collect call. Just spell it out, 1-800-OPERATOR. And remember this, if it's not 1-800-OPERATOR, it's not AT&T. I would say it.
1-800-OPERATOR.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for a crisp, clean, classic taste. AT&T, we help put your world within reach. Energizer brand batteries, nothing outlasting Energizer. They keep going and going and going. And by Burger King and its everyday value menu. Have it your way. I love this place.
9:17 remaining in the ball game. The Vikings outscored 6-3 in the first quarter, fell behind 20-3. It was 20-17 at the halftime, and 2 field goals from Reveas have put Minnesota on top here in the fourth quarter.
And Denver hasn't scored in almost 28 minutes.
Derek Russell and Milburn of the deep men. That chases Milburn way back into the end zone and come out to the 20-yard line. Well, the key play on the last drive was a third down catch made by Chris Carter.
They had only completed 3 out of 10 on third down conversions, but this was a big one that resulted in the 3-point field goal by Reveas. But Chris Carter continues to make big plays. Remember, he was shaken up earlier in the first half, in the second half rather, when that big hit from Dennis Smith. Pressure clutch kick though by Reveas made it easily.
Out of the shotgun now. Here come the Broncos on 1st and 10. Screen pass. Caught by Bernstein. Walker's in front. He hurdles and moves it out to the 31-yard line before Fred Strickland makes the tackle. That's a gain of 11.
Now Bernstein's going to have a lot of fun talking to Vincey Glenn, because earlier in the game he lowered his shoulder and hurt his shoulder. And this time when the two meet, Vincey goes real low and Bernstein goes over the top. Really a talented athlete, Rod Bernstein. 6'3", 245. Has that type of ability for a big man.
And a first down after the catch by Bernstein. 1st and 10. Left side, Vance Johnson. Audrey McMillan up to make the stop at the 35-yard line, and the clock shows 8:22 remaining. Well, how often has he done it? 31 times in the fourth quarter.
And today he'll be challenged by the 3rd best defense in the NFL, in a real classic defense that rushes just 4 men primarily and drops off 7 in an umbrella type of zone defense.
2nd down and 6. Blitz. Elway. Man open across the middle, and the catch is made by Shannon Sharp for a first down at the 48-yard line.
It seems like every time the Vikings blitz, Elway burns them. They cannot afford to blitz John Elway. He just sees the field too well. He sees the blitz coming and knows exactly where he wants to go to Sharp. And it's a first down for the orange team.
Gain of 13 in the last play. Elway has thrown for 263 yards now. Vikings haven't given up 300 yards passing since 1991. Here's the sweep to the right side. Bernstein cuts it up, gets a block, moves to 245, and Vincey Glenn makes the tackle. Viking player down at the 48-yard line. It's Fred Strickland. A 24-yard gain by Bernstein.
And it was because of a key block on the kickout by Robert Del Pino, number 39. And then we are going to get an example of a Viking player being tired. Watch Culpepper, 77, not strong enough to bring down Rod Bernstein, and perhaps a little bit tired. That's one of the many effects of playing here in Mile High Stadium.
Fred Strickland, who has been very active today, and he will walk off without assistance. A 24-yard gain by Bernstein. That's his long for the year, and it gives him 37 yards on 9 carries now.
And the Broncos are starting to run the ball a little bit more on this drive.
7:05 remaining in the ball game. Ball at the 28, first down and 10. Four-man rush, draw play. Del Pino goes right. Had a block from Russell Freeman over there. And Todd Scott makes the tackle, number 38.
A lot of time left, but already the Broncos are well within Jason Elam's range. You talked about that 54-yarder he got against San Diego. That, of course, is his career long, but he's 8 for 8 inside of 30 yards.
Reggie Rivers comes into the backfield, replacing Del Pino now on second down. Or rather, Bernstein. Del Pino is in the lineup. Here's Elway, flushed, goes right, fires deep toward the end zone, knocked away at the goal line. Carl Lee, number 39, makes the defensive play.
This classic battle between Zimmerman and Dolman. Zimmerman's going to win this one just in the nick of time. He brings Dolman down, and it's an outstanding play on the outside by Carl Lee, cutting inside of Vance Johnson, who's begging for a flag, not going to get one.
Bernstein back in now with Del Pino on third down and 7. Elway comes left, got him. John Randall.
And what that does is that makes Jason Elam go back to his limit. That will bring up a field goal of about 54 yards.
It won't bring up the field goal. They're bringing Tom Ruin on.
Interesting. 4th sack of the game for Minnesota, and it's John Randall picking up his 6.5, and now Elam comes back out on the field.
Ruin went out, then came back, and Elam is in there.
Now they're going to have to burn a timeout now. They don't have a holder out there, Vern. Tommy Maddox didn't even have his helmet.
But it's the Vikings who call timeout.
Second timeout.
Told you weird things happen here in Mile High Stadium. Tommy Maddox is the holder. I think he was faked out by the change of mind by Wade Phillips. His helmet was on the bench, and he was nowhere near being ready to come out for this field goal.
Well, the ghosts of Mile High rise and circulate.
Looks like it's going to be from about 53, Vern.
CBS Sports coverage of the NFL continues next Sunday with regional action. You'll see either Chicago at Kansas City, Detroit at Green Bay, or the New York Giants at Philadelphia. It all starts at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL Today. All you need to know. Jason Elam is on the field, so is Tommy Maddox. And Wydell will center it. Keep in mind that Tim Irwin has blocked 2 today. 52 yards to tie the ball game. That's got enough. It's good. And officially call it a 53-yarder. One shy of his season long.
And you wonder about the change of heart. They sent out the punting team at first, then sent out the field goal team, and then get 3.
What's that ball doing there?
Working to be the best they can be. Teammates, sponsored by the U.S. Army. The Detroit Lions, led by quarterback Rodney Peete, number 9. And wide receiver Herman Moore, number 84. Have by leaps and bounds been the surprise team of the entire NFL season. The towering talents of both of these young stars have made the 93 Lions the best they can be.
classic cars.
63 Vet.
Split window.
Right.
68 Camaro Super Sport.
GTO, any year.
Nice. Gran Torino.
Starsky and Hutch. Good car.
65 Mustang Ragtop.
It's obvious.
75 Pacer.
Tail fins.
Bumper bullets.
Bench seats.
Drive-ins.
Boss 302s. 427 big block LED8 with an 850 double pump.
Beechwood aged Budweiser. Crisp, clean, classic.
5:48 remaining in regulation play. Jason Elam's 53-yard field goal has notched it at 23 all. Elam will kick off. Qadri Ismail waits for it at the goal line for the Minnesota Vikings. That one takes a funny hop. It looked like a 9-iron, and Ismail is in trouble. Elijah Alexander, number 58.
You know, Elam didn't try to kick a knuckleball there. He's just trying to kick the ball as far as he possibly can. That ball came out, was almost spiraling, and when it came down and hit the ground, it almost augured into the ground. Watch this bounce away from Ismail. Now he's got absolutely no chance. Timing is off. The wedge is broken down, and now he pins his offense deep in their own end.
Ismail shaken up, gets up. Brian Billick, the offensive coordinator for Dennis Green, sends the Minnesota Viking offense on the field. They have not played well in the fourth quarter this year. They've given up 30 points in each of the last 2 ball games. Up the middle it goes to Roger Craig. And Shane Dronette makes the tackle.
And in each of those last 2 games, they held the lead in the fourth quarter and lost both games.
Had a big lead at one time at home to Detroit. Last week led 17-16 to San Diego going into the fourth. And they led 23-20 until a few moments ago. 5:14 to go and counting. Charlie Waters, the defensive coordinator of the Denver Broncos. 2nd and 7. Play action. Salisbury. Carter is all by himself. There was an obvious mix-up, and here goes Chris Carter across the 50, down to the 40, and finally tackled at the 30-yard line. 55-yard gain, blown coverage by the Broncos.
Great fake by Salisbury, but an unbelievable effort by Chris Carter. A lot of guys would have just caught the ball, cruised down the sideline, and then stepped out of bounds. Here he is right here. Watch the good fake in the backfield, and then Carter comes down on the corner route, and he's going to be wide open. Perfect execution, but what makes big plays is great athletic ability. Watch the cut back to the middle of the field by Chris Carter.
55-yard gain. Here's Craig coming right. And he's down at the 26. 4:10 remaining in regulation play.
This is really where the Vikings have to run the ball. They have to run it to take time off the clock. They're already within Revez's field goal range. But if they can't take time off the clock running it, they're going to just play right back into the hands of the Broncos and the hand of John Elway.
2nd down and 6. Word is carried 11 times for 30 yards. Craig 10 for 31. Robert Smith is inactive with an illness. 2nd down. 3:38 remaining in regulation play. Craig, nothing. Dave Wyman makes the tackle.
That'll bring up another 3rd down situation.
For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you're watching the NFL on CBS in the game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Denver Broncos. I'm Vern Lundquist along with Dan Fouts, and our score is 23-23. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast and Mountain time zones. Salisbury, deep right side, incomplete pass, threw it away. It'll be 4th down. And the Minnesota Vikings are going to try and climb back on top. Dennis Green's team fell behind 20-3 early in the 2nd quarter as John Elway threw for 2 touchdowns. But Salisbury led them back. It was 20-17 Denver at the half. Then we were tied for 20 at 20-20. The Vikings went on top by 3. We're now tied again. And here's Fawad Rivas to try and put the Vikings back on top. He's done it. 43-yard field goal. And it comes with 2 minutes and 49 seconds remaining in the game.
And it's been a while since we talked about all the field goal kickers and making headlines. Well, we're going to have headlines today. Rivas with 2 here in the second half. Elon put the Broncos back into a tie, and then Rivas with a real pressure kick hits from 43.
Earlier this season, Fawad Rivas had 5 in a game against Green Bay. And that one breaks the tie and puts Minnesota back on top. 2:49 remaining.
And in a very uncomfortable position because there's 2:49 remaining, and John Elway will have 3 timeouts to work with.
And playing at home.
And he's done it 31 times. He's got them right where he wants them.
Dallas still leads, but not by much.
What an upset that would be, huh?
Wow. Rivas will kick it. Milburn and Russell are deep for the return. This will be Glenn Milburn at the 1. To the 26. The tackle made by Dave Garnett. Elway and company come back on the field.
Remember, it's only a 3-point difference here, so Elway's not thinking necessarily having to go 74 yards for the winning touchdown. Elam just hit from 53, so that gives Elway a little bit more room to work with.
And the Broncos do have all 3 timeouts left. Screen pass, left side. Good move by Milburn. He gets it out to the 32-yard line.
Well, you got a feel for Carlos Jenkins. He knew it was a screen right away, got involved with all the linemen, and then Milburn puts on a great move to get away from him. Good call by Jim Fossil.
Elway across the middle. That one's caught at the 40-yard line on second down. It'll be a 1st and 10. And we are nearing the 2-minute warning. 120 seconds remaining at Mile High Stadium in Denver. The Minnesota Vikings are up by 3, but Elway has the ball.
Hey, the Miss Perfect pageant. Yeah.
We're watching hockey.
Pageant. Hockey.
Let's watch both.
Miller Lite presents the Miss Perfect Face-Off. Okay, Bob, Miss Georgia goes to the corner. She pays the price. Here's the puck coming loose. The shot. She scores!
Brought to you by Miller Lite. If you can combine great taste and less filling, you can combine anything.
Oh, that'll be sashing. 2 minutes for Miss Congeniality.
Bad call.
Good beer.
Great taste, less filling. Can your beer do this?
With DeskJet printers from Hewlett-Packard, it's easy to make it happen.
You build a new razor with precision heads to shave below the skin in comfort. And what do you get? Cut a precision groove to help the Norelco lift and cut system shave even closer. And what do you get? Build a razor that shaves closer, smoother than ever before. And what do you get? The new Norelco razors, our closest shave ever.
Is their 60 Minutes anniversary show really as good as the critics say it is? See for yourself when the best 1 hour in television becomes the best 2 hours in television tonight on CBS. Then it's a CBS miniseries Return to Lonesome Dove, Part 1.
And before all that, we may just have OT Part 1.
Well, we've got 120 seconds left in this one, and then 120 minutes left of 60 minutes tonight.
Can't wait.
1st and 10, 26-23, Minnesota. Elway left side. Vance Johnson. It's tipped away by Audrey McMillan, and he draws a flag. And that flag comes from an official who really was not in very good position to make that call. Wow.
Yeah, that was made by Paul Betts, the back judge, and Vincey Glenn is irate and ought to be real careful here. He might get a further penalty here. What they're going to call is that McMillan had his left arm on Johnson as he reached across with the right hand to knock it down.
Pass interference. Number 26 defense. 1st down.
And watch McMillan's left hand here on the back of Johnson. And that little push got the flag, and that's a real questionable pass interference call. 2 in the last 3 games against the Vikings.
1st down at the 49-yard line. Elway deep right side. Incomplete. Carl Lee was covering. And a flag is thrown in the offensive backfield. We may get a roughing the passer call. Wow. I bet it's going to go against number 92, Roy Barker.
Well, he's the guy pleading his case a little bit late. Another crucial mistake by Denny Green's defense.
Unnecessary roughness. A late hit by number 92. 15 yards. 1st down.
Let's take a look at it, Vern. Boy, how late is it? I was wondering where he was. That's a real poor judgment on Barker's play there. Probably didn't see that Elway didn't have the ball.
And as a result, a 1st down at the 36. They're already within Elam's range. Elway scrambles, pulls up, drills it to Johnson. He's tackled at the 29. 1:43 remaining.
You know one thing, the Vikings are not going to blitz Elway. They're going to rush these 4 very tired down linemen and just play zone behind it.
On 2nd down, Elway looks right, flips it out for Shannon Sharp. It's incomplete. That stops the clock with 1:23 remaining.
And just as I say, they're not going to blitz him, they blitzed him. Jack Del Rio came right up the middle, adding 5 men to the pass rush. And what that does is that means there's only 5 men to block those 5, trying to get some type of advantage along that defensive front. But those guys are really breathing hard down there.
It's 3rd down. 1:23 to go. 3-point lead for the Vikings. Del Pino and Bernstein are with Elway in the backfield. They hand it off. It's Robert Del Pino to the 26-yard line. I don't think that's enough for the 1st down. We'll see where the spot is. Carlos Jenkins with the tackle. They'll bring out the chain.
And the officials have stopped the clock.
That may be enough. 1:08 to go.
Yeah, the problem is that we got one of those chains here in Denver, Vern, that they can add links to at any time, or they can take links out. I know it. I've seen it.
That's part of the mystique here, huh?
That's one of those weird deals they got going here. This one, they're going to take a few links out, and they didn't really have to. That's a whole football they made it by.
1st down. He did get it. 1st and 10 at the 26 with 1:08 remaining. And the Broncos trailing by 3.
Now Elway's thinking touchdown. Got the field goal in his back pocket. Now he's thinking 6 points.
Vikings bring 4. Elway across the middle. Flag is down in the offensive backfield. A fumble recovered by Minnesota. But keep in mind the presence of the penalty flag at the 35.
Now we'll know shortly if this is holding against the Broncos or not. Milburn is hit by 2 defenders.
Here's Tom Hoyt.
Holding, number 65. Penalties declined. Fumble on the play recovered by Minnesota. First down.
And if you are a subject of irony, how ironic that Gary Zimmerman is found guilty of the hold.
That's his first holding penalty of the year. Here's the hit. Todd Scott and Carlos Jenkins. And it's Jenkins that stripped the ball and Scott that got the recovery. Here's Gary Zimmerman on the left side here, working against Dolman all day long. And that's a good call. He did pull him down with the left hand. Kept him out for the entire game, and one bad play, and Zimmerman will get the goat horns.
Jenkins and Scott on the tackle of Milburn, and the Vikings, who were trailing by 17 early in the second quarter, are trying to run out the final 49 seconds. Time has been called. 49 seconds remaining in the ball game. Minnesota leads by 3.
Citibank has really given us a new sense of self because we have our own identities.
I have a Citibank Visa card, and it does have my photo on it, so I have one less worry.
And not only that, but you can pick what you like, so it doesn't look like a DMV photo.
I don't know why the other credit cards aren't doing the same thing.
We need a photo card so family members can tell us apart.
Introducing the first credit card with your photo and signature on front from not just Visa, Citibank Visa.
49 seconds remaining in regulation play. Gary Zimmerman traded by Minnesota to Denver, and the holding call proves costly.
Well, but they still fumble.
You're right.
You know, the holding call really had nothing to do with the fact that Carlos Jenkins ripped the ball away from Glenn Milburn. Doesn't make Zimmerman feel any better, though.
2nd and 8. And here's Roger Craig out to the 25. John Elway and the Denver Broncos were up by 20-3 early second quarter. And Sean Salisbury, who has thrown for 366 yards in the ball game, leads them from behind. Rivas kicks 2 field goals late in the game, and the final one from 43 gave Minnesota the lead.
And how about that big pass catch and run by Chris Carter that set up Rivas for that apparent winning field goal.
That was a 55-yarder, and Chris Carter has 6 catches for 134 yards. I know the answer to this, but do you suppose at some point Buddy Ryan might say, you know, I was wrong about Chris Carter. He really can play.
Buddy say he was wrong? That's kind of like asking the Fonz to say wrong. He could never say it either.
Right.
You do know who the Fonz is, don't you, Vern?
I remember him quite well.
Yeah, happy days.
Yeah, well, for some of us, those days weren't nostalgic. Real time. 43 seconds to go. The Broncos at home against Pittsburgh next week. Minnesota's on the road at Tampa Bay. And it looks like Sean Salisbury and the Vikings are going to win this one. Here's Roger Craig. Don't forget, as soon as this game is over, a special anniversary edition of 60 Minutes. It'll last 120 minutes. And now the final timeout, or Denver uses a timeout. And that is their last one.
Minnesota really showed some character today, Vern. Down as they were, and it looked like they were down for good.
Yes.
Great comeback.
They will win here after losing here the last time they were here, 42-21. Vincey Glenn. And the Vikings will go to 5-4. We assume it is 4th down, and Minnesota is going to give it up.
You know what the Vikings ought to do here is they ought to snap the ball to Newsome and then have Newsome just run out of the back of the end zone. Now the clock had started, and they can just run the game out if that's the way the timeout is.
Well, there's some confusion as to whether or not Denver actually did use its final timeout.
Timeout, Denver.
Now there's no confusion.
Third and last charge timeout.
And they got the 33 seconds put back on the clock, too. But if Newsome just runs around there, that would be a 2-point safety.
Tom White explaining this, or attempting to explain this to Wade Phillips. Today's game was produced by Michael Burks and directed by Andy J. Kindle. The coordinating producer of the NFL today is Eric Mann. Directed by Larry Cavallina. The senior producer of the NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin. And the executive in charge of production is Rick Gentile. Well, the Broncos don't do this often at home. Lose a 17-point lead. And from Minnesota, down 20-3, they're about to kick it away, give it up to the Denver Broncos, but the Broncos will not have any timeouts left. Now Dennis Green is getting some kind of an
Well, see, Denny Green counted 4 timeouts. And see, he doesn't play here that often. He doesn't know that that's one of those weird things that happens where the home team gets 4 timeouts.
Ghosties come out, snowballs come out. Harry Newsome has not had a punt blocked in his last 110.
He's not going to go for style points on this one either. Just catch it and kick it
as quickly as possible. High snap. He gets rid of it. And Glenn Milburn has it at the 30. And will hurry out of bounds. There's a flag down back at the point of the punt.
Yeah, they roughed the punter. And how fitting for this game to come to an end with another penalty, huh?
13 for the Vikings. This will be 11 on Denver. And yet another conversation preceding the marking off of a penalty. Well, Salisbury 366 yards. Elway with 290 on 30 of 42.
The thing about it, the Viking offense now, though, is they're throwing the ball down the field. Chris Carter with 6 catches, Anthony with 4, and Steve Jordan had 6.
Illegal formation.
Remember that 53-yarder he had.
On the kicking team. Running into the kicker on the defense. The penalty's all set. We'll replay 4th down.
So still only 13 penalties for Minnesota and still only 10 for the Denver Broncos.
But 8 seconds came off the clock. There were 33 seconds before that play, and now there's just 25. So whereas it was offsetting penalties, it really hurts Denver more than Minnesota.
Newsome back again. 10-man front for the Broncos. Here they come. And Newsome sends it high and deep. Milburn bobbles the ball. Vikings recover. Carlos Jenkins has it. You can't advance a muff. Minnesota takes over on the muff recovery.
And a rough day for Glenn Milburn as he, as you said, muffed that one and fumbled the previous time the Broncos had the ball. But he is a rookie, and rookies are prone to make those type of mistakes.
For Wade Phillips, his team will fall to 5-4, and a mini winning streak of 2 games comes to an end. A mini losing streak for Sean Salisbury and the Vikings comes to an end. They go to 5-4.
Vikings seem to be one of those rare teams that plays better on the road than they do at home.
Dennis Green. And the Minnesota Vikings come to Mile High and do what is extremely difficult. Win here as a visiting team. 26-23 the final. Minnesota 5-4. Denver 5-4. Vikings still trail Detroit.
Question. If your cold pill's so good, how come your symptoms keep coming back? Because your pill doesn't work 24 hours. Introducing Efidac 24, the first cold tablet so effective just one works 24 hours. Look, Sudafed drops off after 6 hours, Tavist after 12. So your symptoms keep coming back. But just one Efidac gives consistent relief for 24 hours. So your symptoms don't come back. New 24-hour Efidac keeps cold symptoms from coming back.
Maybe you think buying a computer for your family is easy.
So, which one is right for me?
How should I know? Here, read these.
I wonder where we can find some help.
Can we get some help? Hey!
Not so easy unless you come to Radio Shack. From affordable family computers to exciting multimedia PCs, Radio Shack has the selection you want, plus the personal service and support you deserve. Make your decision easy with our full line of computers at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
So for Dan Fouts, I'm Vern Lundquist saying so long from Denver, where the final score, Minnesota 26 and Denver 23. The NFL on CBS continues next Sunday with regional action. You'll see either Chicago at Kansas City, Detroit at Green Bay, or the New York Giants at Philadelphia. It all starts at 12:30 Eastern with the NFL Today. Our final 26-23 Minnesota. You've been watching CBS sports coverage of the National Football League.
They come from China, from Thailand, from England, Germany, France, and Australia. Every day, people from 33 countries across 5 continents come together in the friendly skies. United. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies.